Hello and welcome to a special edition of Tech Talk. In this episode, we'll have a conversation about emerging artificial intelligence and how it could potentially affect our everyday classroom routines. So hello and welcome to this inaugural episode of our Tech Talk podcast. I think that's what we're calling it at this point. Brought to you by the ITC team. I'm Devin Haynes, it's Monica Napier, and Jadorian Tate Richardson. And we plan to use this podcast to dig deeper into topics in the ed tech world. We could talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but today we're going to talk to you about advances in artificial intelligence, specifically the emergence of GPT. Before we get into GPT, we're going to talk to you a little bit about things falling behind me. So we are deep in the bowels of the Idea Hub here in Duncanville ISD, and we're just cramped in a little office right now, and we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. What do you have for us?
All right. So, in the spirit of tech, I had to ask Google what artificial intelligence is. So I'm going to read you what Google says. It's the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that usually require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and translation between languages. So in essence, we use AI all the time, whether you're using Google Translate, you use Siri, you're using Alexa or Google Assistant. These are things that we have come to know and use very often. So when it comes to AI, you don't have to be afraid. You use it every day.
Do. Yep, we do. When we started talking about we are going to talk about AI, I was like, well, yes, Siri, Alexa, and all that stuff. But what is AI? And that sent me down a rabbit hole, and I learned a whole bunch of stuff about AI. So AI, the big idea, but there's a lot that goes into making something artificially intelligent. Like they need to be able to respond to input and also take all that input and learn from it. So there's different levels of AI, and that's where I went. I could go into
super deep. So are we at the space where we can say we are living the Jetsons?
No, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Praise God. I don't think we want to be there yet.
So we don't have automated robots that are going to clean our homes. No Skynet.
I know I went Terminator, so I went bad.
So we're not there yet. But we do have the emergence of ChatGPT that could really change the education landscape.
It could. So y'all are talking about AI and disruptive technology. As soon as you start talking about AI and education, I think you're getting to a point where you're talking about, is this going to mess with my classroom? Is this going to mess with what students are doing? Is it going to dumb down thinking and all that stuff? So as a former math teacher, I know people like to bring up the calculator. Oh, the calculator is going to ruin people's brains and they can't think like that. They're not going to learn their math facts. They're going to be 22 and not know how to add 3 plus 3 and all that good stuff. So calculators, remember, they were meant to be tools to perform quick calculations so you can think about bigger problems. And they were supposed to make some of those calculations quicker. So then we got spreadsheets and stuff coming out of it. So I remember in my experience in the math field, the math world, we had things like photo math, Wolfram Alpha, and different things that could do math for you. And we talked about those briefly in the Tech Talk. So for those of you not familiar with photo math was something that came after some other math, AI, and machine learning models to where it got to a point where it could read your handwriting or read text, put that into an engine that would say, oh, this is a division sign, this is a multiplication sign, and then do the math for you. And then taking that a step further, it would show you step by step. So teachers thought they'd get around it by saying, oh, I need you to show your work. Well, these AI programs would show the work and give you a thorough explanation for it.
I feel like that's something that I needed as a math student. I need to see those steps so I can learn.
I most definitely needed those steps.
So you can learn. So the fear of a teacher is they're going to turn in photo math's work as their own. So
That is fair.
it was a thing of plagiarism and not learning the math. And us math purists are like, you need to know the steps, you need to know the processes. And why is it every time I imitate a math teacher, my voice gets deeper and my eyebrows go down? I don't know, but that's just kind of the way it
I'm
was.
sure there's a person who are imitating and you don't remember.
I will not name names. But the thing about math AI was that some people gravitated to it and said, I will use this as a learning tool. So like y'all are jokingly saying, I needed it to show me some of the steps when my teacher wasn't at home with me. And others are saying, well, nope, it will have no place in my classroom. Matter of fact, students will disconnect. They will walk through a metal detector and that's what they're gonna have when they walk into the classroom, because they have to only use their brains and this pencil with an eraser. No pens, because that's what math teachers like to say. But we're getting to a point now where not are we with it or against it, but how can we use it?
Yes. I think that it's normal to have those fears when new technology comes because you don't know what it is, you don't know what it can do, and we're always fearful that the kids are going to take it and they're going to cheat. So
They do.
they do anyway. They're doing it now.
Yes.
So I think take some of that fear away. We have learned to adapt to all things, like spell check. That was just an absolute no. We could not use spell check. That is an everyday thing. I love Grammarly.
Without.
Yeah, Grammarly fixes everything for me. Cliff notes. Teachers were upset, English teachers specifically, because you could read and know about an entire plot line of a story and never have read the book.
Yeah.
So what did teachers do? They adapted. They read those Cliff Notes and then they asked you questions that had nothing to do with those Cliff Notes. So ChatGPT in and of itself is a great technology, but it will not replace teachers because you still need humans. And you know your students. As a teacher, I know which of my students are capable of writing really good essays, and I also know the ones that this does not sound like your voice.
I hear that. I hear what you're saying about that it cannot replace us. Yes. But my thing is, how do we take advantage of it so that it can make those students who we know who are weak to make it even better? And I feel like tools, all of these things are tools. These tools can be used to improve student learning and to improve their output and what they are doing, as opposed to it being a hindrance to them actually learning the content.
I agree. So one of the things about ChatGPT is that in order to get the output that you want, you have to ask the right questions. So a student going in and asking it to write an essay about, I don't know, let's just choose a topic of evolution. It's going to give you this really great topic. But if your teacher was very specific and said, I need information about the founding thoughts and information about its application in science today, ChatGPT isn't going to give you that.
You know what? I just realized that we never explained the difference between ChatGPT and Siri and Alexa and Google Voice. Like, what makes these things different?
Okay.
So, okay. I guess I could.
Go ahead. You got it.
Maybe you might want to do that. So they are very similar because they're actually the same type of AI. They are still machine learning. But the thing about ChatGPT, they have a lot more of input than Siri and Alexa, and they're pulling from multiple sources. So ChatGPT was designed to mimic human reactions.
Right.
And although Siri and Alexa are as well, but ChatGPT retains memory. So I can ask ChatGPT, what is evolution? And then we can continue that conversation. And I think that might be good to just show them.
Siri never wants to continue conversation.
No, I'll ask Siri, what is evolution? I was like, well, I found this on the web.
Yeah, they don't really give me what ChatGPT does.
No.
ChatGPT is like having a conversation with someone who's really, really smart and can pare down information for you. So in that respect, I think it could be useful for students to learn how to ask the right questions, right? It's all about teaching them to ask questions. That's what we do on Google. Google will give you lots of information, but it doesn't always give you what you think you're asking. So it forces you to go in there and be very specific.
And that's all Siri is doing, is parroting what Google said. That's all it's doing.
Right.
You know what will be good right now, Mom?
Show them some Chat GPT.
I think that would be great.
Demo time.
Yay.
Thanks for watching. As you can see, we're just getting started talking about things like ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. Stay tuned for part 2 of this conversation. In the meantime, we're on our race to reach 200 members in our Tech It Out Teams team. Tell your colleagues to join us for regular tips and conversations on technology. As always, thank you for watching Tech Talk, where we talk tech.